What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of My Perspective Podcast with your boy Big Hawk, aka Aaron Hawkins. I'm so glad y'all could join me again for another episode. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Man, hit that subscribe button. Help your boy get these subscriptions up so we can do bigger and better things in the future. I'm so I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, man. I'm happy to jump off the porch and start the podcast. As you can see, I'm in my truck. I'm a truck driver, and we are coming to you from Rafine, Virginia. Rafine, Virginia. I'm somewhere on Interstate 81 North. That's the best I can tell you. I'm heading to Maryland, but this is where I shut down for the night. And we are in Rafine, Virginia. Raphin. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Y'all forgive me. But welcome to another edition, man, of My Perspective Podcast. Today we're gonna be talking about the subject at hand. Gonna be masculine energy versus feminine energy. Just so y'all know, this is my perspective, my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I ain't no damn doctor. I ain't no therapist. I ain't no counselor. I'm just a brother who done been through some things and have a perspective on life based on my experiences in life. That's just it. And I'm a communicator, so I like to talk. That's why I started my podcast. I need to get stuff off my chest, so why not share it with y'all? Hope y'all like what y'all hearing. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We're going to talk about masculine energy versus feminine energy. Today we're gonna focus on primarily the women, but this goes for the man too. But I want to focus primarily on the women with this right here particular topic because, man, masculine energy in females is really high. It's really high. I understand why it's high, but it's high nonetheless, and it's unfortunate because women should not have to live their entire lives or most of their lives in a masculine space. That's unnatural. You got your element, but you was forced to do what you had to do. So I commend you. I definitely commend you. I just hope that y'all are strong enough to revert back to your feminine side, your feminine state, because that's where you're best. That's where you most. That's where you're best at. That's where you're most well equipped at. So, masculine energy versus feminine energy, man. We can take this thing way back to colonization, slavery. We can fast forward up until the '60s, the women's lib movement, systematic racism and oppression. It started from a plethora of things, but via social media, we tend to think the newer generation, Generation X or Y, whatever y'all call yourself today, we tend to think, y'all tend to think that we just a bunch of deadbeat ass men out here who've been caught up by mamas, and that's why y'all forced to be the man and the woman and raising y'all kids by yourself the majority of the time. Although there's some truth to that, that ain't where it stemmed from. Us as I hope everybody listens to my podcast. White, black, Asian. I hope everybody listens to it. But I'm a black man. I'm an African descent. I'm an African American. And we're not in our natural culture, first and foremost. So, because we're not in our natural culture, we've been given how to live, how to speak, how to act, how to move around in America. Because through colonization, the Europeans colonized the whole world. So they got us too. So we living off the principles and morals of colonization, first and foremost. And so one of those principles is divide and conquer. They broke up, they weakened the black man to his weakest state today through division. colorism and slavery, um, um, ageism, young versus old, but most importantly and the most damaging one was they divided the black family. They divided the black family. Once upon a time, I don't know if these numbers are still true today, so don't quote me on this, but 80% of black marriages were successful. Up to 83% of black marriages were successful. Um, Even back in Jim Crow, when things were segregated, you had black families that were strong. You had black families that were upper middle class, upper class. They just couldn't cross the tracks and go mingle with the white folk. We had our own businesses. We had our own everything. But it was self-contained on our side of the tracks. And if you think about it, it's a beautiful thing. It was a very, very beautiful thing. As much as I love Martin Luther King and what he did for the efforts he made for our race to become equal, he did us more of a disservice than he did us a good thing. Because when he passed that bill to end segregation and for equal rights, that means we can cross the tracks and mingle with the white folks. That cool? We can go in our restaurants, sit at y'all counters and eat y'all off y'all silverware now. But guess what happened? Man, they spit in our food. They gave us marginal service. They didn't cook our food right. They gave us inflated prices. And they took all that goddamn money. I'm talking about in the restaurants, in the department stores, in the grocery stores, you name it. And guess what else happened? 90% of all black businesses went out of business because of that. So, RIP to the great Dr. Martin Luther King, but he did us more of a disservice than he did us a service when he got that bill, that equal rights bill passed. And when he realized the error of his ways, he went to go march for reparation. And that's when they killed him. That's when he died. When he was going to speak on reparation. We want our 40 acres and a mule. So he realized the error of his ways. And he did try to make amends for what he thought was right. But it ended in tragedy. It ended in tragedy. So salute to MLK, but that equal rights bill damaged us more than it helped us because we lost. Now we got to pay them for marginal, subpar service. They still treat us like crap, and we got to pay for this bullshit. But he thought we were doing what was right because we wanted to be equal, and it wasn't a bad thing. And then fast forward past that, the women's lib movement. The women's lib movement, when the white woman asked for the help of the black woman to get them equal rights. The black woman helped. The white woman got the equal rights, the black woman didn't, and it damaged the black family. Fast forward a little more. They took all the jobs out of the inner cities and in all the major cities. They took all the jobs that we had and moved them to the suburbs. Now we don't have no jobs. So you had upper middle class families thriving, black communities thriving because of the major car manufacturing, the major plants that was in the inner cities. And there were union jobs, so they had protection on top of that. And so we moved and migrated from the south to the north because, for whatever reason, these white folk didn't want to work on these jobs. I don't know why, but so we went and took the job. The unions were started to protect the white man from the black man, but the white man didn't want to work. Now y'all can fact check me if you want to. What I'm saying ain't 100% factual, but it's truth to what I'm saying. So don't call me no liar. Don't call me I'm just making shit up. Do your homework, but it is some truth to what I'm saying. But you can go look for yourself if you so desire. So we migrated from the south. I talked to my good friend Daddy a few weeks ago at a picnic, and I asked him how long he was living in Chicago. He told me since the 60s. He said, man, that's where all the good jobs was at. So he They moved to Chicago and got one of them good jobs. And man, he built there ever since. Retired from the job. That is 40 years he worked on that job. Made a good living for himself. But when they took most of the automotive companies and moved them out, man, listen, it crippled the black family. And to make matters worse, here come the government, the so-called save the day. They introduced welfare in Section 8. To all the people who need it, oh, it's a great thing. We're going to give you a place to live, subsidized housing. We're going to give you a food allowance. But guess what? No man can't be in the house with you. Well, I'm married. No man can be in the house with you. So now, this grown-ass man who got a wife and 3 or 4 kids, 2 or 3 kids, he forced to live with his mama. He forced to live with his mama because they took his job and took him to the suburbs. Now he don't have no job. Now he's scraping and scraping to make ends meet. And they told him he can't live with his family because she's on Section 8. We're going to take care of her and them kids, but not you. So the government, not her husband. And her husband live with his mama. That's how the cycle started. That's how the cycle originally started. And so, with that being said, it just kept evolving and kept evolving. So now we don't even think about this no more. All we know is these no good ass dudes ain't taking care of their kids, ain't have working, they still stay with their mom, they want to play video games all day. And there's a lot of truth to that. I'm just telling you where it started from, the inception of this shit started from. So I'm trying to go back to the root as much as I can possibly take it. That's all I'm saying. However, fast forward, we here now. And guys, it's a lot of guys that just coddle. They sorry. We enable our kids to be suckers. We enable our kids to be bums. We enable our kids to be non-productive citizens in society. But shit, they making babies like now they going north, but don't want no responsibility, right? So that forces the woman to be the man and the woman to provide for her children. Unfortunately, more times than not, the woman don't have the luxury of walking out on them kids. She can give them up for adoption. She can do things like that. She don't want the responsibility. But when you carry a child for 9 months, you bonded with that child, and you're not gonna easily let that child go. You just gonna deal with what comes. And I commend y'all who done that. I commend y'all for that. But that means y'all had to play a role of the man and the woman. Now, you ain't being the man in its totality, but you got to work harder. You got to provide. And you still got to be a mama. You got to nurse these kids. You got to be there when they sick. You got to be up all times of the night. You got all these responsibilities on your back. And that's going to create masculinity, unfortunately. That's going to create masculinity. So I see how these women may have had to struggle, and then they'll put themselves through school, or they become nurses, they become real estate agents, they become mortgage brokers, they become all these things to make ends meet, to provide for them kids. And they feeling really good about themselves. But the whole time, they're just becoming more and more masculine and less feminine. Not feminine to the point where they don't want no boyfriend, or they ain't having sex, but less and less feminine in gender roles, because they had to do both roles. So, and part of me, I get it, because you don't put in all this work, you don't work hard. You may or may not be getting child support. You may or may not be getting physical help raising the kids. So the brunt of the responsibility is on the woman. The mother is the custodial parent just because she had the baby. I was married, taking my kids to school and being offended on a regular basis because the mother is the custodial parent. I go sign my kids out. I try to sign my kids out. I take them to register them to school. And then I mess around and sign custodial parent. I sign my name. They say, you're not the custodial parent. I'm like, these are my damn kids. I've been with them from birth. These are my kids. You're not the mother. The mother's the custodial parent. I learned that shit the hard way, and I was very offended. I was taking it back, and I was talking trash. But that's how it worked. The mother is the custodial parent. So the mama being the custodial parent, innately within her, carrying that child, carrying them children to term, even if you have a C-section, not natural birth, you got to bond with that child. You're going to make it do what it do no matter what. You got some sorry mamas out there, but I'm talking about the majority of the women, they do what they got to do. And I commend y'all for that. But in spite of that great effort and hard work y'all do, it's creating masculine women. And it's the fault of the men for not contributing to the rearing of the kids. It's so say you have one child, you can have 3 kids. So for 18 years, you got to make sure this child is cared for. And if you have multiple children, it's that much harder to do. So, when you on Section 8, you getting food stamps, you getting these welfare checks and WIC and all that stuff to get yourself started. And that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hell, I was on food stamps before as a married man, so I get it. I ain't tripping. And then you see it's not enough, so you go to school. You go get these degrees. You become nurses. You become mortgage brokers. You become real estate agents. You become things to increase your income. And it may take you 1 try, 2 try, 3 try, but you finally get it. And now you're making 3, 4, 5 times what you were making before. So now you bossing up. Now you're able to buy a home. Now you're able to rent nicer places. Now you're able to put your kids in nicer environments. So they can go to better schools and have access to better facilities and things like that. This off your back. This is what you doing off your blood, sweat, and tears. You proud of that, as you should be. Fast forward, you meet a real nigga. Excuse me, y'all. You meet a real man who by this business. Got some old school principles about himself. Want to take care of his lady. Want to take care of the kids. You got a problem with that. You got a problem with that. Now you got a problem with that. You ain't saying it, but you showing it. Hard as I work to take care of these kids and get what I got, you think I'm gonna let you come in here and just take over? It ain't working like that. That's where the masculinity becomes a problem, ladies. That's where the masculinity becomes a problem. If you want to be feminine, you have to release responsibilities when you meet a good man. And let that man take on the responsibilities. And the number one responsibility you have to let him take on is leadership. You got to let him take on leadership. He got to be the head. It's a teamwork at the end of the day, but it's a hierarchy that goes with that. And the man has to be the head. Now, how he leads, that's a different conversation. Because you have militant leaders, you have dictator leadership, and you have teamwork leadership. But that depends on the man. So that's another conversation, another topic for another conversation. But what I'm saying is, if you meet a good dude, he check all the boxes that you got. He ain't with the riffraff. He ain't in the streets. He's gainfully employed. He handsome. He love your kids like he love his own kids. He do for your kids like he do for his own kids. He makes sure your kids straight when he makes sure his kids straight. Oh, everything good. You got to relinquish them responsibilities, and mainly that leadership responsibility. Whether you like it to hear this or not, I'm not gonna get no amens off this here, and it's okay. But you have to give him that responsibility of leadership in that home. If y'all planning on going to that next level. If y'all just dating, you not do none of that shit. Y'all just date. But if y'all get serious, once y'all get serious and want to go to the next level, a conversation, a feminine woman, this is what a feminine woman is gonna do. A feminine woman, she gonna sit her kids down. She gonna let her kids know, me and Mr. Johnny, we've seen each other. We've been seeing each other for X amount of months, years, or however, and things have gotten serious with us. He's gonna be coming to live with us, or we're gonna be going to live with him. We're planning on getting married, or we're thinking about marriage, but we're gonna live with each other for a while. In this process of living together, Mr. Johnny is now the head of the house, and Mr. Johnny is going to take care of me and y'all. I'm going to be here. I'm going to with Mr. Johnny he the head of the house now, and we're going to respect Mr. Johnny as the head of the house. That's the conversation a feminine woman going to have with her children before she enters into that relationship with that man. A masculine woman, she ain't doing that. She not going to do that at all. A masculine woman, man, these my kids, these my responsibility. Don't you worry about them. You just worry about us. That ain't going to fly. Not with a real man, it ain't going to fly. A nigga who don't give a damn, pardon my friend, a dude who don't give a damn, who just need a place to stay, or he don't care about being on daddy to your kids. He loving it. He don't care about none of that. But a real man who got old school principles and values and morals, that ain't gonna sit well with him. And guess what, Miss Masculine? You're gonna be by yourself again. You're gonna be alone again. I know y'all probably saying in the comment, I've been by myself making it happen. Hey, it ain't gonna change nothing. You right, it ain't gonna change nothing. What ain't gonna change too is what you really want, and that's a husband. Or what you really want, a relationship, a companion. You might get a companion, but it's gonna be with somebody you selling it for, because he don't give a damn about your kids no how. But a man who give a damn about your kids and give a damn about you and want to provide structure and order, that ain't gonna fly. It's not gonna fly whatsoever. Because a real man gonna provide structure. A real man gonna provide order. And it's for the good. And everybody gonna love him in the end for it. While he doing it, he ain't gonna be worth a damn. But most good men are hated anyway. Most good men are hated anyway. The only thing that love a man unconditionally, I'm sorry to say this, y'all, correct me if I'm wrong. The only thing that loves a man unconditionally is a damn dog. You can kick that dog in the ass, hit him with a rock, he gonna come and still love on you anyway. But a woman, but them children, nah. They love got conditions on it. They love. I'm married and I'm saying this shit. They love got conditions on it. Especially a good man, because he provide order. He providing structure. He providing stability. And that shit that's like growing pains. When you grow, you hurt. But once you finish growing, the results are good. That's what he bringing. He bringing that growth. He's bringing that stability. He's bringing that structure and that order. And you got to be woman enough and to allow that man to do that, and release yourself of these masculine traits, and release yourself of these masculine responsibilities that you were forced to do based on your mistakes as a child, as a young person. It may not be mistakes, but your choices and decisions you made as a younger person. So you were forced to be masculine. You were forced to take on manly duties as well as womanly duties. So I understand your frustration. I understand why these accomplishments mean so much to you. I understand all of that. However, if you want what you say you want, and most of y'all say y'all want a husband, y'all want companionship, y'all want a different way of living, a different life, and that man come to provide that, you have to be woman enough and feminine enough and trust the process enough to relinquish that. Relinquish those manly roles back to a manly man. Now, what I'm saying is all good, but you can't get tricked either now. Sometimes you get tricked. Sometimes you get hoodwinked and bamboozled. I get it. But that's because we ignore red flags. You can't ignore the red flags. The man got substance and he backing up what he's saying. Yeah, you got to trust the process. Because at the end of the day, ladies, it's going to work out for your good. It's gonna work out for your good. And if you don't trust the process, it's gonna be you and the bunch by yourself. But guess what's gonna happen then? Kids gonna get grown. They're gonna start their own families. You're gonna be in the house by yourself with a goddamn cat or with a goddamn dog, lonely and miserable because you ain't trust the process. Just saying. It's something to think about. You don't gotta agree with it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm talking based on my experiences. It's just my opinion, it's just my perspective. That's why the podcast name is such. It's my perspective podcast. It's how I see things. These are the truths that I know to be true in my life based on my experiences. Hopefully my experiences and the things I've seen and I've witnessed in my life, hopefully the things I share can give you something to think about. Something to think about. Maybe it will inspire you to change. I hope so. Because my goal is to create unity amongst the man and the woman. Because we need one another. We need one another. But we never gonna get nowhere fighting. We never gonna get nowhere fighting. As much as we fuss and argue with each other, man, we still fucking heavy out here. We fucking heavy out here making babies out here. And we just create more and more dysfunction doing the shit this way. But through communication and dialogue, we can prevent so much misfortune, so much heartache, so much pain. And that's my goal. But ladies, please, if you find a good man, let that man take on the masculine roles and allow that man to be the man of the house. I'm going to tell you this and I'm going to let y'all go. A real man, all he's going to know is that he's number one. Once he's secure in that he knows he's number one, he's the number one priority, he ain't gonna stop you from doing nothing you don't want to. He ain't gonna stop you from doing nothing you want to do, because he know he number one. And once he knows that, and you respect him, and you loyal to him, man, you damn know what you want to do. But you gotta be woman enough to relinquish them roles. I know you had to put all your kids through school yourself. I know you had to work 2 jobs and go to school to make ends meet. I know you had to work your fingers to the bone before you got to where you are. And then but now you find you got the cars you want, you got the houses you want. And nobody can just come in and take over that. I get that. Nor should you allow a nigga to come take over that. But if you get a real man who buy his business too, you gotta let that go. You have to relinquish that. And the real man ain't gonna do you wrong. He ain't gonna take advantage of you. He gonna add value to you. He's gonna add value to you. All this hard work, all these great achievements you got, he's gonna add value to you. He's not gonna take from you. Only way a man take from you is you miss the red flags, or you overlook the red flags. You just didn't care about the red flags because he putting that baby leg on your ass. That's when you gonna get duped. You know, homeless dude, they fuck the best because they ain't got nowhere to stay. They sucking toes, eating booty, everything. Y'all get caught up in that type of shit, and that's where y'all go wrong at. But a real man who out here working every day, making ends meet, making it happen, y'all don't want a man like that because he come with structure and order. That's why y'all run from niggas like that. Y'all want a man like that, y'all say, but when y'all get that man, you don't like it because he make you do right. He holds you accountable. And I'm sorry to say this, ladies, y'all don't like to be accountable. Y'all do not like to be accountable. But for the type of man you want, you're going to have to be woman enough to relinquish those masculine roles. And then and only then, you'll be fully able to live in your femininity like you desire to. But I wonder if you really desire to live in your femininity. I really do. You don't work so hard to get what you got, being the man and the woman. You don't want to let that shit go. And I'm going to end on this right here. That term, boss chick, a boss bitch, that's the most bullshit ass term I ever heard. You know why? Because she a boss. She can't have no man, a real man, if she a boss. She gonna try to run to him. It don't work like that. These boss chicks, they single, they lonely. Because they don't have they're operating off testosterone. They're not operating off estrogen. They got too much testosterone in them. They're operating off that. They ain't operating off estrogen. Estrogen is the feminine hormone. Testosterone is the male hormone. A boss chick, a boss bitch, she ain't thinking about no man. All she want a man to straighten up back at every now and then. That's it. You don't want that. These power couples, you got two masculine motherfuckers fighting against each other, competing for the mirror, competing for who got the most money. Them shits don't last. There's an order in everything. There's an order in everything. And if you want that feminine order like you claim you do, you gotta be able to relinquish those masculine roles you were forced to that you were forced in. I'm sorry, that you were forced in due to circumstances. But you're gonna meet a real one one day. You're gonna meet a real one one day, and when you do, don't run from him because what you see ain't what you used to. He's gonna come with order, structure, stability, as well as love. He gonna meet all your needs, your emotional needs. He gonna meet all your needs, but he gonna come with that structure. He's gonna come with that order. He's gonna come with that stability. That's something most women lack because they doing everything on their own. So something gonna go lacking, and it's okay. But when that real man comes, he gonna provide those things for you, and you got to be woman enough. You got to be feminine enough to relinquish those roles to that man and allow him to lead you and your children. If a man wanna be a stepdaddy, you gotta commend that nigga just for that alone. You gotta commend him for just for wanting to be a stepdaddy, just in and of itself. He gotta deal with your baby daddies, all the headache that may or may not come with that. He gotta deal with possibly your children saying, "You ain't my daddy, you don't tell me." He gotta deal with all this stuff. And he still wanna take care of it, he still wanna take on that role. You gotta commend him just for that. I'm not saying all kids do that. I'm not saying all baby daddies are crazy with the BS. I'm not saying that. But these are possibilities that niggas gotta go through. And if he wanna take on that role and be a stepfather and be a husband and leader to you, you gotta commend him just for that. But if you get a real one, ladies, man, let that man be the man of the house. And don't make him take it. Because that's gonna create resentment from him and from you. He gonna resent your ass, you gonna resent him. How long you think that relationship gonna last then? How long you think that relationship is gonna last then? If resentment creep in, it's gonna go downhill. So allow that man. If you're a real man, he got substance. He's making it happen. He's financially stable, the whole nine. And you want you? And you like him too, and you want him too, relinquish them roads and get that man the keys to the car. Let him drive y'all to the promised land. This your boy Big Hawk, man. That's it for today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Let me know how you feel about let me know how you feel about the podcast, man. We just growing, trying to make it happen. And until next week, y'all. I'm out. Love y'all. Peace.